free fall and fishing landing, performed by members of the Irish Defence Forces swim team, the Black Knights. In addition to today's jump, the Black Knights will perform at various military and civilian locations throughout the country each year. The team consists of members of all branches within the Defence Forces, and between them, they've completed thousands of parachute jumps. Well, at this time, the members of the Black Knights are climbing to an altitude overhead, carrying out the team today in the Air Corps AW139 helicopter. And they plan to exit the helicopter at around 4,000 feet. The jump master, Captain Jerome Donnelly, is looking at the door of the aircraft, checking the spot, where he'll give precise directions to the pilot maneuvering the aircraft directly over the jumper's exit point, known as the spot. And the aircraft is slowing down to approximately 60 knots, or about 70 miles an hour, in preparation for the exit. So the aircraft is on its final approach, and the jump master will very soon give the signal to go, and then each team member will jump from the aircraft at 3 to 5 second intervals. So looking to the north, up to around 4,000 feet, you'll see the air helicopter making its approach. Pilot on the direction of the jump master at the moment. Be ready to count as the jumpers exit. Making calculations for the breeze and the wind to make sure that they land directly on the beach here in front of us in the sterile area. And here they go, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The team are out now doing their equipment checks. And the parachutes that they're using today are called ram air canopies, otherwise known as square parachutes. These are high performance canopies that can turn sharply and have a fast forward speed. They're like a flying wing. Highly maneuverable, and they allow the jumper to steer in any direction.
You fly it to red the sky. Woo, they're making attraction. Look at. Woo.
Smoke canisters on so that you can see the display.
Yeah.
And again, any idea that the parachute is simply helping them slow down as they fall, it's actually being flown by the parachutists today. Fully under control, heading towards the drop zone. Now, as they come down towards 2,000 feet, would you believe that the parachutists can actually hear you? The sound travels upwards. So why don't we give them all a big cheer? Each of the parachutes will be assigned an area to land along on the sterile area here on the beach. So now they make their approach, downwind initially and then into wind. Here comes the first one, followed by the second. Cameras at the ready for touchdown. Captain Jerome Donnelly, based in the engineering group in the Defence Forces Training Centre.
Woo!
Corporal Paul Kelly, based in No. 1 Operations Wing in the Air Corps. Flight Sergeant Micheál Rice, based in the Air Corps College. And Commandant Keith Meehan, based in the 6th Infantry Battalion in Lone. Ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation to the Black Knights.
Woo! Just close to the gun. Hello, Daniel. Hello from BRAY, County Wicklow Island, where the summer festival here.
The team, as they stow their kit in an orderly fashion, if any members of the public would like to see the parachutes or have a photo taken with the backlights, they'd be more than happy to meet you at the Defence Forces display area.
That the Irish police, the name is Garda. His prediction today is about 70k people move here. Last year is 50k.
No, no way, I got no them. You're not getting out there, Billy.
So hello everybody and welcome to the 2025 BRAY Air Display. My name is Michael Cameron. I'll be your commentator for the day along with some guests who will be keeping us advised on the various different acts you can look out for. I'm your voice on the ground and we'll also hear from the pilots in the air today as well. It's been a real pleasure to be with you here on the BRAY Seafront, sharing stories, history and behind the scenes insights into the aircraft. So find your spot, keep your eyes on the horizon and together we'll enjoy the show.
Ooh, getting lost, people. Oh my God, getting lost.
So now we're ready for our show to continue this afternoon in perfect weather conditions. Let me draw your attention out to the east, and if you just keep an eye on the Samuel Beckett, the Navy ship, and then look up a little bit to about its 1 o'clock position, you'll see the arrival of Shamrock 1936. The call sign 1936, of course, remembering the starting date of Aer Lingus' first flight with the Uller. I'm joined in the commentary section this afternoon by Captain Derek Gunning from Aer Lingus. So welcome along.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
2-2. 2-2.
So Dara, you've had not only the pleasure of flying this aircraft, but being here at BRAY as well.
That's right, Michael. I'm currently one of the instructors on the 320 fleet in Aer Lingus, and I've been heavily involved in the delivery of these aircraft over the last 6 years.
Also with us this afternoon, we have Adrian Dunn, who's Chief Operations with Aer Lingus. Adrian, welcome along.
Thank you, we're delighted to be here this afternoon.
Tell me a little bit about this aeroplane in particular that we have today.
Yes, this is one of our A321LR, and obviously we have this and the XLR, the latest version. So really the gauge during our trips across the Atlantic, reaching cities like Indianapolis, Nashville with these aircraft. So really, really exciting.
Now, I believe this airplane's already been earning its keep today, coming in from Hatfield, I think it was this morning? Hartford.
Yes, in from Hartford. We do this trip around and it's in for its maintenance this afternoon and back flying tomorrow morning.
So there aren't Aer Lingus passengers sitting on it at the moment as we bring them the air display?
No, unfortunately not.
The whole idea of this particular aircraft as well, and I know one of the things that Aer Lingus are very proud of this afternoon, is the carbon offset.
Yes, today we've partnered with Project Leapfrog to offset the carbon emissions on this trip here today. So it's something we're very aware of and that we're working very hard on within Aer Lingus and also within the IAG group.
Now, one of the things people like at air displays is noise, but you're not going to hear an awful lot from this particular aircraft.
No, very, very quiet aircraft, really low sound footprint. And about 20% more fuel efficient than the historical aircraft.
Adrian, thank you very much indeed for your airplane and indeed for being here today as well. Dara, tell us a little bit about the crew today.
So Michael, the crew is composed of Captain Barry McCooey, he's pilot in command today, and in the right seat today is Captain Barry Cretch. And the third pilot today, which is probably the most important role of the crew, is First Officer Michael Ennis. all instructors on the 320.
I believe Michael's parents are here actually today as well.
Michael's parents came up last night. They were so excited. They came up and they stayed in Bray last night in the Martello, and they're out on the seafront now watching the display.
Okay, so tell us what's happening now on the flight deck, because they're coming in for their first approach.
So they're just making their first run now. So they're at 500 feet above the ground, and they've reduced the speed of the aircraft to 180 knots at the moment. To do that, they have flaps extended. Flaps 2 are selected. You can just see them now approaching us. They're aiming for the harbour, the outermost wall of the harbour, and they're aiming down towards Bray Head, to the very end of Bray Head, just in the corner of the white building. So you can see there they are now with flaps 2 out at 500 feet above the ground.
So what do the flaps do on the wing?
Fly at a slower speed, Michael. It'll generate the same amount of lift, but they can fly at a slower speed. So what they're going to do is just starting a gradual left turn. They're going to pitch the nose of the aircraft up to about 2 degrees above the horizon, and they're going to climb up to above the ground.
Now, the operations that we're seeing here this afternoon are not standard in a commercial airline, so these are practiced beforehand in the flight simulator.
Very heavily practiced and regulated, so the crew on stage completed 8 hours of simulator training, so they can, if they wanted to, they could fly this display with their eyes closed today. They're so familiar with it.
Their eyes are thankfully open for this part of it. We were talking a little bit about the aeroplane and some of its specifications, and you mentioned some things that we might translate. You said knots. Now that's a measurement of airspeed. What's that roughly in miles an hour so that people know?
Roughly miles per hour. If we say 10 miles per hour, or 10 knots is roughly maybe 17 knots.
Mark Williamson, Bray, County Wicklow Island.
Can you tell us a little bit then about the people who love the mechanics of it, the engines?
Now
of
it's
this
about
aircraft?
the Bray aerosol display.
Said, and as you saw there when they did their first pass, it's
The biggest
much
part
quieter
of
than the older variants of
the
the
summer
320.
festival
In fact, it's 50%
in Ireland.
quieter. These engines are state-of-the-art CFM LEAP 1 Alpha engines, and each engine produces 33,000 pounds of thrust.
So, coming in now for the second manoeuvre.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like it, but they've actually climbed up to 1,000 feet above the ground. They did a very slow climb up to 1,000 feet.
We'll be back again.
As I mentioned in the background, you'll very often hear the sounds of the various different aircraft and the pilots talking to air traffic control here at Bray. 119.6 is the frequency if you have an airband radio with you, and we'll share some of those ground transmissions for you shortly too.
So what Barry is doing at the moment is he's turning back and he's aiming for Bray Head now. And if you are familiar with Bray Head and the car park that's halfway up Bray Head, Barry on the way in on this pass is going to try to position himself as close to that as he can. And all the time now they're slowing the aircraft down to 140 knots, and they're going to configure to our landing configuration, Michael, which would be gear down with flaps full. So this pass will be fully configured as if they were coming in for a landing.
This is a perfect photo opportunity to come in. Landing lights are on.
He's going to turn and he's going to fly to the north, parallel to the beach. And then what they'll start to do, abeam the harbour walls, Michael, is they'll do what we call a teardrop turn. So we'll turn out to sea again, and they'll route towards just off Dalkey Island before turning left to come back in for the third pass.
Now here come the Aer Lingus.
So at the moment you can see Barry is just adjusting the track of the aircraft there, just turning slightly to the left, aiming for that car park on Bray Head at the moment. And you can see now that the gear is down. He's slowed right down now to 140 knots, which would be our landing speed. And he's now going to turn to position the aircraft along parallel to the beach.
Woo!
Great photo opportunity coming along for you now.
Woo! Yeah!
So that's the slowest an aircraft flies, Michael. That would be landing configuration and landing speeds. You can just see the gear going up now at the moment. He's about to raise the gear.
Catherine, it's about the air show display.
Sharp-eyed people might notice as well that there are little tiny winglets on the end of the wing. What's the function of those? What do they do?
Fuel efficiency, Michael, one of the main functions they have. So they, as Adrian said earlier on, this 30% more fuel efficient than its previous. So So this time he's going to start the teardrop turn now, and he will now reconfigure the aircraft again to flaps 2, but this time around at 160 knots. The gear has just gone up there, so he's just raised the wheels. The landing gear has been retracted.
One of the things that you mentioned at the beginning was the task that the observing pilot or the monitoring pilot is doing.
Yeah, if you think of it, the best way to describe it is Mikey is like a chess player today, so he's thinking 3 moves ahead at all times. So in the back of Mikey's head, he's looking at what the profile is, and he's just communicating with both Barry and Barry to the next configuration and the speeds and the various different visual landmarks that they're looking for before they start their turns. So you can just see now, Michael, they're starting a left turn to come back in for the third run now.
There's a new aircraft as well that joined fleet, along with this one.
Michael, so the newer variation of the A321LR is the XLR. LR stands for long range, and XLR, surprisingly enough, stands for extra long range. So the LR has a range of about 4 nautical miles, the XLR about 4,600 nautical miles. You get an additional 2.5 tons, which is roughly 1 hour flight time.
Of course, this has been a major development for Aer Lingus, which is these aircraft now on the transatlantic runs.
Yeah, it's actually opened up to North America to a single aisle aircraft, and ironically, by the end of this year, Aer Lingus will have more long-haul capable narrow-bodied aircraft than wide-bodied aircraft.
To go back again. This one. Goes to the dock.
So they're just turning now, they're aiming for Woodbrook Golf Club, Michael, and again the configuration for this pass will be flaps 2 at 160 knots. And what they're going to do this time around, just to give the crowd an idea of it, is they're going to extend the landing gear when they're at the midpoint of the beach. So you'll be able to see the mechanics of the landing gear extending at the midpoint of the beach.
Look, 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 getting close. Getting close.
And as we've mentioned already, years ago when we started the BRAY Air Show, the first of the Airbuses made its appearance, we were much louder. Now we've got this quietness, so you almost sneak up on you.
That's it, with the reduction in noise with the aircraft. The last manoeuvre the guys will fly today is a go-round manoeuvre, and generally that would be accompanied with quite a significant amount of noise, but not this time.
Looking to the left, here they come, as you say. Here will be extended about midpoint.
Yeah, midpoint of the beach now. You can just see the doors of the gear opening there. So very shortly now you'll see the landing gear come down, the wheels will come down. There they go.
One of the things, of course,
That
has
Aer
been the addition of some
is
real
one of
comfort
the
in these
best
aircraft
Irish
now.
airplanes.
Yes, as a passenger, the passenger experience is very comfortable on this aircraft, Michael. We have 16 business class seats on this aircraft. There's 168 regular seats on the aircraft, so it's a very comfortable aircraft for the east coast of the United States.
Aer Lingus, of course, has been training new pilots, and more new pilots on the way will be joining and adding to the fleet. It's a fantastic career opportunity for people.
That's it, yeah. The most recent group of our cadets from our future pilot program have just started their, as we call it, line flying this week, Michael. And we'll have a continuous stream of new pilots joining us over the next 6 to 12 months, which is very exciting for us.
And you also have many of the pilots who, for example, you have a husband and wife team.
Yeah, but funny enough, Clodagh is an Aer Lingus captain also. So Barry and Chloe trained 2.5 years ago in Florida.
Half is a big difference, isn't it?
So this time around they're doing what we would call a racetrack pattern. So they're speaking Michael, and they're going to turn now towards coming back for their last run towards the beach. And this time around, like we said, they'll execute a go-around manoeuvre. So they will, at the midpoint of the continue the display by selecting takeoff power and then climbing away to 4,000 feet on an easterly track.
Now, anybody who's watched some of the YouTube videos might have heard something called toga, and that's what you mean, take off and go around.
That's it, exactly. Toga power, which would be full power on this aircraft, which is take off and go around thrust.
That's the thing that some people are a little bit curious about. You don't actually need full power to take off in one of these aircraft.
No, these engines are so powerful that normally we take advantage of a derated thrust setting for takeoff, which increases the lifespan of engine studs.
So final photo opportunity this Airbus A321.
So Captain Barry Kretsch is now flying the aircraft. They handed over control halfway through the display, and Barry again is aiming for the harbour walls at the moment, and then he's looking straight down the beach towards the white buildings at the tip of the end of Bray Head, and halfway down the beach they'll execute that go maneuver.
Look.
And this is really where you'll get an appreciation for how quiet this aircraft is, Michael, when you deploy takeoff power, that there won't be a noticeable increase.
There it is. So everybody, a very special thank you to Captain Barry McGoey, Captain Barry Kretsch, and First Officer Michael Ennis for the play on Shamrock 1936 this afternoon. And Darren, thank you for your wonderful insight about the aircraft today.
Thank you, Michael, and well done to the guys. They did a great job and they did it well done.
Just take a break till another show coming.
So our show continues this afternoon. This piece of music might give you clues to the next aircraft, the Mustang. Now, one of the things about when the Mustang is displaying, commentators like me try not to do too much talking, because the sound of the engine on this aircraft is absolutely superb. One other thing to note about the Mustang is a particular sound that the pilot today will generate for you, and that's caused by the openings of the little holes in the wings where there used to be a machine gun mounted. Here she comes, and when she pulls the aircraft up, it's a bit like blowing across the top of a bottle. You'll get a whistling sound referred to as the blue note from the Mustang. Our display pilot this afternoon is Isabel Ruthland. Her story is really impressive. This is the aircraft that she's flying. After a career in the city in London, she swapped the boardroom bit, and today she's an accomplished pilot with experience in a wide range of aircraft, from the Pit Special, the Texan, and of course the mighty Mustang. She was the 2023 National Standard Aerobatics, and she took home the prestigious Tiger Trophy in the same year. Also a certified instructor, but today it's all about vintage warbirds and the power of great history and grace in the air. There's a really special story related to the North American P-51 Mustang. And this particular aircraft is known as Marinelle. And she's not just a beautifully restored warbird even, but a combat veteran with a story to tell. There's that special sound. Built in 1944 at the North American factory of Inglewood in California. She crossed the Atlantic and arrived in the UK on a day the world will never forget. June 6th, D-Day. Our first pilot was a Captain Bradley Stevens, just 24 years old at the time. And on the morning of August 13th, 1944, he took Marinelle on a bombing and strafing run over French rail lines, returned to base that morning and wrote in his combat report of a heavy and accurate flak enemy aircraft fire. Later that same day, another pilot took the aircraft up, but unfortunately, the aircraft was hit and shot down. It saw just 45 days of combat duty. Isabel handling this aircraft beautifully in the demonstration this afternoon. Look at that. The equivalent of a victory roll. So as Isabel Rapace, this is your last photo opportunity and an opportunity to show your appreciation for Marinelle, Pete Mustang. Here she goes.
There. Coming on again.
You're listening to the sound of a Merlin 12-cylinder liquid-cooled engine in an aircraft that's often referred to as the Cadillac of aeroplanes in the sky.
Hello from BRAY, County Wicklow Island, Dorothy. How is Canada today? The weather.
As Isabel makes her final pass for us this afternoon, a lovely story about the naming of this aircraft, Marinelle. Inspired by a pilot's sweetheart called Mary Ellen, but somebody spelt it the wrong way when they baked the nose and they weren't going to change it.
That's the same as where you are now.
This aircraft continued its service up until the 1980s with some airports around the world, but there are now fewer than 300 remaining flying worldwide today. Beloved at air shows, air races, and anywhere where people gather to enjoy aircraft.
It's dangerous. It's sharp. It's sharp. Up to the tummy there.
Done. Stop pointing. There's one there.
Viewers that you're watching this afternoon, of course, have a history, and the whole business of aerobatics was developed during World War I. Aerobatics began as a matter of survival for a lot of the pilots. What you're seeing here at the moment are maneuvers that would have been carried out in dogfights involving one or more aircraft. Pilots found that steep turns, barrel rolls and dives weren't just impressive, but they were really essential for dodging enemy fire and getting the upper hand in a dogfight. So being able to quickly roll, invert it, and change direction rapidly became part of the skill of aerobatics. Aces like von Richthofen, the Red Baron, and McManus used early versions of these moves to outfly their opponents. Somebody's chasing you, you might need to be able to slow down, speed up, or actually quickly turn and go in the opposite direction. Well, after the various wars, the takes found a second life in air shows and various different competitive aerobatic competitions. You're going to see a couple of different maneuvers this afternoon, and later I'll be joined by Jerry Humphreys himself, who will have some fantastic displays tomorrow at Rome, and he and I will talk a little bit more about skill of aerobatics. But let's talk about a couple of the basics that you'll see, including in our next show this afternoon from the Irish Historic Flight Foundation. The first one that you will notice this afternoon some of the aircraft doing is something called a loop. So in a loop, the aircraft climbs straight up, pitches over the top, and descends back to level flight in a full circular motion. It's elegant, symmetrical, and it's one of the oldest in the book. Next, you'll notice things called barrel rolls. Now this is a combination of a loop and a roll. The aircraft flies along in a corkscrew path, rolling while turning. And if you imagine rotating around the inside of a barrel, that's exactly what it looks like. A few more as they happen this afternoon, we'll go through them and explain them to you. So Isabel in the Mustang Marinelle now flying directly back to the Isle of Man for fuel on the way back to the UK. We thank her very much for her display at BRAY this afternoon.
Fly back to UK, to Isle of Man. Oh.
problem.
Well, we certainly hope you're enjoying your afternoon here at the 2025 BRAY Air Display. Our show continues all the way through until about 5:45 this afternoon. We've got so many aircraft lined up for you, but I'll tell you a little bit now about the next group of aircraft we're going to see from the Irish Historic Flight Foundation. This is a really terrific initiative dedicated to keeping the rich history of aviation in Ireland alive. And the main goals of the IHFF are to celebrate and commemorate the very significant role that Ireland and Irish people have played in the world of aviation, while looking to the future to educate, engage and help the interest in Irish aviation. They were established back in December of 2014 and they were a joint venture by the Irish Aviation Authority, the Irish Air Corps, the Department of Defence, Aer Lingus, Ryanair, ASL Airlines in Ireland. They have a team of volunteer engineers, pilot aviation enthusiasts, and they really are at the heart of keeping alive and supporting the activities of the foundation. Two types of aircraft are displayed by the flight. They have 3 de Havilland Chipmunks and also a Boeing Stearman. We're going to see the Chipmunks this afternoon. And if you again now look to the north, you'll see 2 aircraft tracking in over Killiney Head. If the Mustang was very, very fast, the Chipmunks are very, very elegant.
Yeah, there is 2 now. Look at over there. 2. Yeah, you see?
That said, the pilots who ended up flying commercially over the years in Ireland would have had their initial training in the Chipmunk aircraft, as they were part of the original training fleet back in the 1950s and early 1960s. Back in the 1960s, Aer Lingus used the air for their initial pilots. So there are good aircraft for many commercial pilots, military pilots as well. Now you'll notice that both of the Chipmunks, as they fly past, these are historic aircraft going back in time, are displaying a trail of smoke. People are often curious as to what that is. It's a very special, highly refined oil, almost the same consistency of baby oil. The hot exhaust coming from the engines, and it's used specifically in air shows so that you can keep an eye on the aircraft as they go along. One of the lovely things about the speed and the agility of these particular aircraft is that they can come in nice and close on the display line. So you're going to get some great photographs. You're noticing, or you're giving a demonstration this afternoon of formation flying, and it's not as easy as it looks. What is happening is one pilot is flying as the lead pilot, making all the decisions of the directions, and the other pilot in the second aircraft is looking ahead. But they're looking of the other aircraft and following exactly where they're going. So the skill, precision, formation, and it's part of the training of pilots for the both military and indeed in the civilian world as well. It's the whole idea of formation, precision flying. The aircraft today, they might be older than your granny. Well, guess what? They were initially built in 1946. And back then, the company de Havilland went on to build about 1,300 of aircraft. You'll notice the numbers on the side are 168, 169, or 1, depending on which aircraft they're using on the day. And the last recorded flight of 168 for the Irish Air Corps was in July of 1993, by which time the airplane had accumulated over 4,500 hours of flying. After 1993, the aircraft were put into storage and they remained untouched until it was donated to the IHFF and converted into a civilian aircraft.
What?
Tell you a little bit more about the de Havilland Chipmunk. The aircraft is capable of carrying two, a pilot and instructor. The engine is a de Havilland Gypsy Major 1C with a top speed of 138 miles an hour, a range of only 280 miles an hour, and was never equipped with any form of armament, purely used as a training aircraft. The upholstery wasn't great. You had to sit on a parachute in order to get some level of cover in your flying. Our pilots this afternoon, Captain Frank Lawless, who flies the Aer Lingus Airbus A330 as part of his day job. And in the other Chipmunk, it is Captain Mark Dwyer, who is an instructor and pilot on the Ryanair 737-800 and MAX. So as part of their fun and entertainment, when they're not flying commercially, they fly with the Irish Historic Flight Foundation. After the show, make sure you have a look on YouTube if you're a real aviation fan, and you'll be able to see some of the videos shot from the Chipmunks during previous air shows at BRAY. Gives you an idea of the level of visibility they have, and also the wonderful views that they enjoy from their flight display today.
Save your life.
Pilots who train in the Vampire jets and the Alouette helicopters. Here's a lovely shot coming in, line of stern with smoke on.
Seaplane.
The people also in there.
Yeah, you have to stand there, look. Still up on that. You're blocking that step, look. Yeah, I know them as well. Wouldn't go down that way. We'll your leg in that way.
Cameras at the ready, folks. This is going to be lovely. There we go. So, very special thank you to the Irish Historic Flight Foundation and the two Chipmunks, the graceful ladies of the air. Now, if I said to you that the Chipmunks were elegant and graceful, it's about to get rowdy. On the way this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, we can hear them here in air traffic control on 119.6. Our Team Raven. Team Raven are terrific supporters of BRAY and indeed the Fingal Air Show as well. Flying light aircraft based on the Vans RV-8, which is an amateur-built aircraft renowned for its agility and performance. Sid Shirley is the lead pilot in this 6-aircraft formation. Now in his 10th season as a display pilot. We can hear the aircraft formation team coming together. So each of the 6 aircraft, let me give you a name check. In Raven 1.
We're very happy to see you too, Raven. Thank you so much.
In Raven 1, it is Sid Shirley. In Raven 2, Patrick Wilson. Raven 3, Pete Wells. Raven 4, Paul Farmer. Raven 5 is Mark Southern. And Gerald Williams is in Raven 6. So, up to the south, ladies and gentlemen, down to Bray Head as we welcome Team Raven to Bray.
Coming right now.
Now the other voice you'll hear along with me is the voice of Sid. And he finishes each command with the word now. At that point, they carry out the various different maneuvers, including this beautiful view to start the show.
Wow!
Boys all power together. Coming right now. Holding the back. Okay.
How you folks have to keep that moving?
Holding the back.
So that calm voice giving instructions to the rest of the team. Now Ravens 1 and 6 will separate away from the other 4 and give us a paired demonstration. Coming towards the crowd line here now. This is a photo opportunity. Cameras at the ready. Here come the other 4 aircraft back in the formation. One of the challenges for the team this afternoon is when they break from formation, the 6 aircraft, for example, as we have now. Here's another photo. delta turn now from the two aircraft. Oh, watch this as the aircraft corkscrew around the others in formation. Now you see me, now you don't. Remember I said to you, all of these various different maneuvers were learned as combat maneuvers, and this one would be very handy.
Perfectly done.
Called Cyclone.
3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5.
Now watch as they all rejoin again for a 6 formation.
Stepping up. Quick factor, hey, tipping left now. Holding the flank.
So the Ravens back in full formation. One of the aerobatic maneuvers to watch out for is called a hammerhead or stall turn. This aircraft coming to a stop, pivoting on its tail, and then diving straight back down.
Woo!
Break, go. Pull in, go. Over the top.
Look left and look right as the two aircraft drove into the sky. Flying towards each other. So looking to the north, here come the 4 aircraft in formation again. Remember, the skill here is to stay at the same speed and the same space in airspace in formation. Time to go vertical. Perfect circles in the sky in the loop. For the countries. Coming up to the pride line. With smoke on. Now, for the romantically minded amongst you this afternoon, there's a really nice opportunity coming up to show your love to the person with you, as the Ravens will draw a heart on the spot.
Colliding. Copy. Rolling out. Pulling up. Rolling left. Okay, back. Easing up. Coming. Left. Now all power. 4 minutes per gallon. Rolling out. Foot off. Good.
Here comes your heart.
All right.
Making hard.
Making hard to get.
Looking forward to it.
Making hard. Woo! Woo!
Making hard.
Rolling out.
It's Eddie.
Accelerate, pulling. Good. Hey!
Crocodile loop, and here come one of the favorite maneuvers for the Ravens, the twizzles.
Coming left. And the Ravens there, Captain Older, coming for information. Copy there, we got there, what's this one then the last one, and we'll be on. Well, 15, that's okay.
So, final pass now from Team Raven. You can see them tomorrow as well at the Fingal Rush Air Display. Back into their full formation.
Rolling. Steady now.
This is one not to miss.
Woo!
Oscars. 2, 3, 5, 6, 120.
Hello, Brisbane from Ireland.
Still on the canway.
Sort of the ear.
Copy there, Bray. This is Raven setting out for the last of the cameras ready. As we run towards the break on the way down, it's been a pleasure to be here. And we'll see you next time. We're in smoke on go. Tipping right speed now.
Best of a message there for you from Sid in Raven 1.
Rolling
Heads up at the ready for their final display.
Click up now. Rolling left now. Wait for it. Brake, brake, go.
Woo!
So Ravens, that's will be a 1500 silver visual cap.
So a very special thanks to Team Ravens this afternoon. And coming hot on the tail of those is Eddie Goggins now. Because Eddie's display is done to music, I won't be doing a lot of chatting, so let me give you a couple of bits of information about Eddie's display for this afternoon before he joins us. Eddie Goggins is one of Ireland's most recognised airshow performers, known as the Flying Dentist. He's a full-time dental surgeon by profession, but he's also carved out a reputation as a world-class aerobatic pilot. Qualified commercial pilot and flight instructor, and he has competed internationally in aerobatics. He's flying the CAP 232 aircraft. Really, it's hard to describe it as an aeroplane. It's more an engine with wings, because he has so much power in this aircraft from a Lycoming 300 horsepower engine. He's got a maximum speed of about 260 miles an hour. And Eddie's just telling me now that he's ready for his performance in about 10 seconds. So enjoy Eddie's performance. He'll talk to us halfway through.
129.475. Thanks very much again, guys. Please.
Tuloy na kami nasa ulit. Go join the attendant.
Make-A-Wish Top 232. I'm having a blast up here today. Thank you for coming out to see the show. I'd like to ask a favor and help raise some money for a great charity. Make-A-Wish Ireland raises money for critically ill children in Ireland and grants the wish to a smile is the best medicine. So please go to the Make-A-Wish website and make a donation. I really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the show. I'm having a blast up here. I'd love to do a little bit more flying. Would anyone like to see a few more tumbles?
Yes,
Sorry, Judy, would you like to see a bit more flying?
Busy.
Okay, cue the music in 3, 2, 1, go!
Ya, indah puncaknya festival Summer tahun ini pertunjukan dari Angkatan Udara tadi di live streaming yang tadi indah.
Thank you, Eddie. Eddie Goggins, the flying dentist. What a fantastic performance. And by the way, while Eddie was doing that, he was listening to the music in the cockpit and coordinating his moves like an aerial ballet. As always, a fantastic demonstration from Eddie Goggins. Our show continues this afternoon.
Tadi live streaming yang tadi saya perlihatin pilot-pilotnya pada cakep, indah. Cek aja live streaming yang tadi, yang sebelum ini.
Did somebody call the Coast Guard? Because they're on their way. Yep. Look. So before the Coast Guard come on site, Let's find out a little bit about their new location. Don Clark is the CEO of Weston Airport, more accurately these days, I think, isn't it?
Absolutely, and thank you very much for inviting me to tell you a little bit about Weston before the Irish Coast Guard AW189 arrives here. So the first thing I want to say is, as ever, we're absolutely delighted at Weston Airport to be supporting the BRAY Air Show again this year. Who are we? Where are we? We're a small, privately owned airport, some 10-12 miles to the west of Dublin. Truthfully, being fairly quiet over the last few years, the intention is to expand the influence and activity into the Irish aviation industry. The airport's been there since 1931, so it's definitely established as part of one of your Irish aviation heritage airports that's around the place. And not only providing the base for the next remarkable aircraft that comes in, but also we're proud to host quite a few of the aircraft